Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been about a month or so since I've done a video like this. The last one was like 11, 12 minutes long. I gained 11 followers on that video, almost 700 hits, 16 or 17 likes. You know, I gotta thank y'all for that. Family, friends, people who don't really know me. A lot of people have been showing a lot of support over the last month with some AI generated videos that I've been doing, doing some stuff on the news and some goofy stuff. Just kind of trying to find my niche, or niche as we call it these days. I don't know, man, I'm old school. We used to call it niche. Apparently the proper term is niche, French, I believe. I want to start off by thanking everybody. You know, like I said, I've gained quite a bit of support. I'm still no super creator or anything like that, but you know, every little bit helps, man. Every little like, every little comment pushes me out there into the traffic in a good way. not the same way I've been pushed in traffic in real life. My digital being is growing, and I truly do thank you guys for that. You don't know how much it means. This is pretty much what I got. I got a ton of stories from a lot of good times and a lot of bad times, and I want to transform them all into something good. Yeah, you know, a lot of stuff's pretty private, but you know, I wear it. Even the bad stuff I did, I wear it proudly. You know, not necessarily proud that I did it, but proud that I can share it. Proud that I came out of it in hopes to inspire people. Give them a little inside look on what my personal experience is like. But maybe what some kind of struggles that you wouldn't really get to hear about firsthand without me sitting here talking about it. You know, a lot of my stories are in likeness of others. I ain't the only one who's done some of this dumb stuff, you know. So we're going to talk about Super Bowl 2024. Not a huge football fan. I don't really have nobody to watch it with. I was always a video game guy. But, you know, February 11th, 2024, I was living on the streets. Hadn't really been asleep in a few days. Starving. I walked into a local establishment after walking around in circles all day long, trying to figure out what in the heck I'm going to do. So I was hanging out there for a little while. I got myself a beer. It's, you know, pretty much all I had. You know, so somebody told me they ordered some food for me, so I was waiting on that. But again, I was super tired. It's not easy out there. I was actually sleeping in an abandoned schoolhouse, like preschool, back at that time. But still pretty nerve-wracking because now you can get in trouble for trespassing. Wouldn't have been breaking and entering because I didn't break anything. Back door was open. I walked in. So I walked into a local establishment. I sat there. I had my beer. I'm waiting on my food. I stepped outside for a cigarette. I came back in, sitting at the bar. I put my head down for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, something like that. And he was just like a general manager, so I assume that's what he probably was. It was certainly management. He came and he told me to get up and leave. Very harsh the way he did it too. And I said, man, like I can sit up. He said, I didn't ask you if you could sit up. I told you to leave. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm on edge. Grumpy to say the very least. So on my way out the door, I grabbed a big gumball machine filled with M&Ms. It was on the right-hand side of me. I reached over and grabbed it, and it was so heavy I couldn't even pick it up. Started to drag it out the store. They're screaming, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I got like 3 guys following me. I just let go of it or whatever. It didn't break. And they might have grabbed it from me. I don't really recall. I got outside of the establishment, and there's like 3 or 4 of them out there, and I'm doing my rage thing. Takes 3 or 4 of you, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Pointing at the guy, went like that with my finger, trying to screw with his eye. I call it voodoo. It ain't really voodoo. I don't know nothing about black magic. I'd like to keep it that way. Trying to tickle the back of his brain. It worked because he laughed at me. So then I go and walk off of the property. At this point, the police are pulling up. I'm already off the property. I'm done. I'm gonna go find somewhere to sleep. Whatever. I'm calming down. The officer yelled at me to stop, and I continued walking, like I've done so many times. If I don't want to talk to you, then I shouldn't have to talk to you. That's wrong in a lot of situations. This one in specific absolutely was wrong. He got in his car, and he sped down the road and pulled a U-turn, a squealing U-turn. Again, I was walking. I wasn't running. I was just being defiant. And I call it the E-turn because in my mind, that U-turn, he made a lowercase e. I call it the eternal turn. Because that turn changed my life. Let me live a little bit. Probably not a perfect U-turn. Probably didn't make an E either. But, it's part of the story. If I was to make a cartoon out of it, that's how I would do it. Anyway, with the tires squealing and stuff, I hauled ass. I took off running. I ran across the street, dipped through another plaza. I had a heck of a head start on this guy, even though he was in the car. By the time he could get across the street and out of the car and start running, man, I had this guy beat. He was quick, man. I'll give him that. At the end of the day, he was a pretty cool cop, too. Not throughout the whole experience, but at the end of the day, I jumped over the corner of this little retention pond in front of the other business, and I was just whooped. I said, to hell with it. I laid on my stomach, put my arm behind my back. He ran up screaming, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. I'm like, are you freaking blind? Like, it just goes to show how we're programmed in our jobs. The person at Wendy's with the headset's always gonna say the same thing. I used to change it up a little bit. I'm not a big verbatim guy, but yeah, it's we get used to doing what we do. Anyway, so he ended up taking me to jail. I spent 28 days in there, and the judge was going to let me off. He said minimal fines. I know you're homeless, Mr. Murda, and I don't want to make the situation any more difficult than it has to be. And I said, well, I heard about this program called CTC. Well, what that is, it's a mental health court that they do here in Sarasota and Manatee County. My understanding, the same judge does drug court too, which it's kind of like being on probation. It's not as heavy as drug court. You go to court once a month, but they give you a place to live while you can get on your feet. With that being said, best thing I ever did out there on them streets was get in trouble this one time. Not that was the only time, but this was the one time that it was worth it. Because the judge seen I really wanted to change. I want to get off the streets. I'm so sick of being homeless. I'm just lost and hopeless. So the judge agreed to that. So I put myself on probation when I could have skated.